Hi guys, welcome to Crypto Be 101, the home of value and good information when it comes to cryptocurrency trading and investment. And this is the Bitcoin and Breakfast Show where we trade it and we do not gamble it. I'm Ahmed Magic Kazim, aka KC, the great. And on this show, we discuss every bit and pieces of what is going on in the crypto space. And this morning, if you look at what is going on, you find out that the market kicked us out at around 90,000, but it wasn't a sell. If you watch my show on Thursday, I didn't record on Friday, and I'm sorry about that. But if you watch the show on Thursday, I just told you we should leave the market because we're going to see a pullback with the kicker we have. And now, if you look at what is going on, it has touched the 0.68 Fibonacci thereabout. So almost the same entry where we had at 87,800 thereabout is still our entry. So we're still going to discuss more about the chart. And also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please support the channel, subscribe, like, and share, and do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you can always be part of the greatness that is going on this great platform. And if you've not joined the community as well, I think you are missing, because I've been sharing signals lately in the community for those of you that are interested in trading derivatives, futures, options, and margin, where you use leverage to trade, and that will help you a lot. But if you're still a spot trader or you're an investor, you can just stick to whatever we are doing on this great show. All right, without wasting our time, let's dive into what is really going on. And if you look at the news, you see that BTC is facing a key level when it comes to Fibonacci support, and we have the Fed rates coming this month. And earlier last month, how will I call it? The odds of Fed cutting rate was very low, but right now it's increasing bit by bit, and maybe we're gonna have another rate cut this month. But is it going to be 50, 25, 75? That we don't know yet, and that will be the basis of what we push the market backward. Remember, we have not broken the real key level. If you look at the chart right now, you see we have this trend line right here. We're above it, we came back to test it, now we're crossing above it, but that is not the real place we need to take a look at. Where we need to take a look at is this point, which is this $94,000. You can see we hit that $94,000 on, I think, on Wednesday last week, but we failed to break above, and that was why we had the pullback. Remember, the first entry we had was around 87,000 thereabout. Then I told you guys we're having a kicker. You could leave the market and make sure you get in when it comes down, and the entry was exact spot, which is still the same place that we entered the market earlier on, or let's say last week. So we're going to be waiting for the Fed rate to push the market higher, and if that is not going to happen, I'm not going to lie to you, the market might just bounce up, fulfill the Fibonacci retracement of this old movement from 126,000. Maybe we're going to touch 98, or let me see, the highest I think is within 108 and 116, which is significant, because imagine if we can move from 91,000 to 116, that is huge. But don't get it confused to being an uptrend again. We're still in a downtrend, but we are not in a bear market yet, because for us to be in bear market, I keep telling you guys, we need to break these 74, 75k thereabout. And you can even see on the news, Bitcoin bulls must defend key level to avoid 76k. And I've been saying this before these analysis. Before these analysts are now even coming out to tell you guys, I've been saying this for the past maybe 1 month, 2 months, because I saw the key level here, and until we destroy these 75, 74k line, or let me say floor or support, that is when I will accept we are now in the bear market. But for now, the market might come down, touch it, form a double bottom, then shoot up to another all-time high, depending on how this bull run is going to be this year. Because you need to understand one thing: a lot of people, they're skeptical about the 4-year cycle now, because everyone is saying this bull run is not over yet. And if it's not over, that means we have a 4-year cycle that we've been doing for the past 3 cycles. We no longer play in as it has always been, because normally from next year we're supposed to see the market dropping. Even from the last month, yeah, from November normally we'll see the market dropping, but sometimes let's just say November, December, but from January we should be in bear market. So let's see if that is going to work out this bull cycle. And if it's not going to work out, that means the 4-year cycle has been thrown out, because and that is acceptable. Why? Because we now have institutions in the game. So maybe they don't want to do the 4-year cycle with all of us. They just want to invest, make profit, and leave the market when they are okay. And that will be showing us on the chart, because we're going to be seeing a lot of corrections. We're going to be seeing massive dump or flash crash once in a while, to show that some of these big boys are taking profit. So what do we need to do with Bitcoin this morning, as BTC need to hold and defend the key level? This is what just we need to do. It's simple. We just need to keep our eye on this level, which is the 94,000. Once we break the 94,000, I believe we are moving back into uptrend that could lead us to what? To another all-time high. But if you fail to break this 94,000, let's say as we're seeing the market, gaining momentum back now, trading at around 91,000 thereabout. If we fail, let's say we touch 94,000, we fail to break it again, and the market start dropping again, I will just advise us to leave the market. But for now, we can still stay in the market. You can see I still leave it at green. Why? Because the market is still a buy. We have not destroyed the structure. We had the structure destroyed at 86, but we failed to break this 83K if we've been following the show. So since we've not destroyed the structure, BTC is still a buy. You can still hold on to your positions, but remember, this is not financial advice. It's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you do your own research and trade with the money you can afford to lose. So with Bitcoin is still a buy. We're going to see how far this will go, but the key level we need to break to let us see a massive rally up to maybe 108 or to 160, or creating new all-time high, we need to break this 104,000 comfortably. So as for BTC is still a buy. Now let's take a look at altcoins, and if you look at altcoins, Vitalik Buterin is even coming out to propose an on-chain future market for Ethereum gas fee, and that is going to be a good thing. I told you Ethereum would have performed so well this bull run if not for the gas fee, and even when they moved to proof of stake, that really helped a little bit, but the work is not yet done, and I feel like the team, they are slacking because the gas fee is too much, and that is why sometimes people even prefer to use Tron, prefer to use Polygon, Matic, Aptos and the likes to transact rather than using ETH. So with ETH, what do we need to do with our portfolio? This is what we need to do. If you look at the chart, it's still in green. I did not change it to red. Why? Because it's still a buy. Number one, we do not have a kicker. We do not have any engulfing candle to invalidate the movement we've seen, or from the entry we've gotten from 2,700. It's still a buy. So if you're holding on to your position with ETH, you can hold on to it as a spot trader and an investor, because Ethereum is still a buy. You can look at it, look at the structure, and we had a pullback, drop down to our buying zone, exactly where I told you to get into the market, 2,700, and you can see it's trading at 3,131 right. You can see what is going on. BTC is not currently. All right, let me check the stream out if it's still going. I think it's fine. Okay, all right, let's move on. So now you can see with link, we are not close to the entry point. You see, this is the structure, this is the entry point. Now, if you remember last week, I told you guys that if you use this signal to enter as a spot trader or an investor, it's not going to be good for you. Why? Because the market might just turn around anytime. You can see it's the same thing. That's why I'm waiting for the bigger picture when it comes to Chainlink. I want it to drop into the buying zone or let it break above the structure. So I'm still going to leave it in red, but for you that are trading the minor structure like the leverage traders, as a spot trader and investors, you can still stick to your buy, because you can see from the entry I gave you at $13, it's not a sell yet. Stop loss is still at $11. But mind you, this is minor trading. This is meant for daily traders, future traders, not for investors and spot traders. But if you want to ride with it, it's still a buy. You can see I put it dot green there, but the main structure is not broken yet. It's still in a sell mode, and I leave it in red. Let's take a look at AAVE. If you look at AAVE, almost the same story with link, and you can see we have a structure on a minor time frame, which means the major structure is there. We're now having a minor structure inside the major structure. So to me, if you're trading this now, you are still trading like daily traders, not like investors and spot traders. So I advise stay away from AAVE right now. Let's take a look at Solana. We all know Solana is different to all of them. Why? Because Solana created a new low. You can see the new low right here, and we have the market push up, drop into our buying zone at around 126, and we moved to around 147. We had a pullback, but this pullback, if you look at it, is this an engulfing candle? Let's zoom in. You can see it's not really an engulfing candle, because an engulfing candle is supposed to overpower this candle, and that is why I did not tell you to leave the market and I left it in green. Rather, it was just a pullback, and you can see it did not kick us out, because here is now the stop loss at 122. So Solana is still a buy. If you're holding on to it, hold on to your Solana positions. But remember, this is just this is for investors and spot traders, and remember, it's not financial advice. It's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you do your own research and trade and invest with the money you can afford to lose. All right, let's move on. Let's check out what BNB looks like. BNB is doing like Solana as well. If you remember last week, I drew the line here and I said our entry point is around 817, and you can see I still leave it in green. I did not touch it. I didn't change it because it's still a buy. We had a pullback, no kicker, no engulfing. So definitely BNB is still a buy as well. So what I'm expecting all these things to create this week is for all of them to create a new high, and maybe we're not going to have a kicker or an engulfing to say it's going to kick us out. But if you don't have that, we might see the rally continue gradually. All right, let's move on. Let's check LTC. The story is different, and I'm going to tell you why the story for Litecoin is different. We already have a structure, break the structure, invalidation. We've seen it with a kicker, with engulfing and all of that. But the reason why I'm still leaving this in green and I'm still saying it's a buy is because if you look at our invalidation right here at $80, we failed to break the 74. So the moment we fail to break the candle that finished below our support, it means we are still in the game. So that's why I still leave it in green. It's not a sell yet. Litecoin is still a buy. All right, let's take a look at SUI. SUI, on the other hand, is different kind of, because you can see even with the minor trade inside the major structure, we've still seen invalidation. So our advice is just stay away from it. Let's see if it's going to drop into the buying zone or break above the structure. What about AVAX? AVAX, the same thing with SUI. No structure being broken. The market has not touched our buying zone area. Please stay away from him. Do you know the good thing about just maintaining your peace with your money or your capital is because you are not trading and you're not losing your money. You understand? So, okay, imagine since when I've been telling you guys not to get into this market, that was since October 13 when we had this massive retracement. I said it's not a buy yet. And what has happened, it has been dropping since then to where we are now. So, if you've not traded, you're not losing your money, rather your money is entered. Imagine you've entered the trade at around $22 or $20, you'll be losing right now. So sometimes you just need to have that patience and wait for the right time to buy asset, because other assets are there. You could check, you could take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, BNB. You could trade them, but other ones that have not created an entry or a buying opportunity, just stay away from it. It's not going to do you any harm. All right, let's continue. Let's take a look at Cardano. I think Cardano too is the same thing, but Cardano is different. You can see I changed it to green last week. Why? Because it touches our, what will I call it, entry point, but it was just like touch it and start moving up. I don't know if you understand, because our entry point start from $37 to $26, and the market touched $37. So I'm not gonna lie, it's still 50-50, but for us not to miss out the entry, because I normally like the price to drop inside the entry point, not just to touch it at the top. I like it to drop inside it, so we know that this confirmation is 100%. But with what I'm seeing, it has touched it and it started moving back a little bit. So what our advice is, let's see if ADA is going to break above this 0.45 cents, and if it does, then we can use that candle that breaks above it to enter the trade, if that makes sense. But if you still want to go in now, it has touched it, but it has not really dived into it. If you get in now, just know your stop loss will be at $27, except we have another structure along the way. All right, but I'm still going to leave it in green because that already touched the buying zone, even though I still want it to break the structure on a minor time frame. Let's go to XRP and see what is going with XRP. You find out that XRP is just been ranging. That's what I'm going to say. Failed to break $2, failed to move ahead of it. We've seen Ethereum, Solana, BNB, they even appreciate a little bit. XRP has just been on that same level. And I'm not going to lie to you, XRP is looking very strong, because out of all the old altcoins that dropped, with the Black Swan we had on October 10 this year, we've seen XRP maintaining above that structure and has not even touched below it or even moved close to it. But do we need to get into XRP now? I'm going to tell you the truth. Please don't do that. Let's wait. Even if at all we're going to trade the minor structure to believe that XRP is strong enough, our advice will wait. Let it break above $2.2 or $2.3, or let it drop into the buying zone at $1.5. That will be perfect and a good entry for us, and we do not need to panic. So for XRP, I'm still going to leave it in red. You guys can stay away from it for now. Let's take a look at Toncoin. Toncoin, the same thing. No structure broken, not drop into the buys, and stay away from it, please. What about StarDex? I told you StarDex is not a buy yet. Yes, it created a new low, invalidated the movement, but yet if you look at this, it keeps creating a structure, but the confirmation fails to get activated. So we're having another one now. My prayer for StarDex now is for it to break above $1. When it breaks above $1 and we have a good movement for it, then we can use it to get into the market. But for now, our advice was just stay away for now. Let's see, because if you look at how the movement is, look at the structure right here. We'll move ahead, no clean structure. Even when we broke above the $1.2, you can see we'll move ahead. Now we fail to have this, but we have what we call invalidation of the movement of the structure. So when we had invalidation, the market has been tanking and has not given us a proper word, a proper entry. And you need to understand one thing. The reason why I'll tell you we need a proper entry, I would have said, okay, let's enter the market now because we have a pullback to 0.78. No, we only do that pullback to 0.78 when we have a new low, and all these are not new low. You can see the low here at 0.81. So this 0.87 is not a new low, so we cannot use the 0.7 to enter, because if you say we should do like that, take a look at this. We could have done the same thing here, it would have hit our stop loss. We could have done the same thing here, it would have hit our stop loss, and the same thing is happening now. So let's wait for structure until we have a new low. If you create a new low, yes, I would have said yes, SRX is a buy now because it has come down to 0 point. Take a look at BTC. BTC is different. Quickly with BTC, you see when with BTC created a new low, move up and drop back to it. That's why we're able to use. You can see here is a new low, move up and drop back into 0.78 until you have a new. When you don't have a new low, you cannot do that. And so that's the difference between using the 0.78 and the structure. So let's move on. Let's take a look at pump.fund. Let's see what pump.fund looks like. And if you look at pump.fund break above its structure from the black swan, and it's been invalidated, even created another structure, invalidated again. But now if you look at what happened here with pump.fund, because this is not relevant again, what is relevant is this new low we have here at 0.002456. Now we have a break of structure, but there was an invalidation, and that invalidation now drop down to, let me show you, drop down to entry points here. So with pump.fund, I can easily say we can get back in, because let me show you this really quick. We have the structure right here, we have break of structure. So our entry before was at 0.0029, then the market move ahead, then we had a pullback, a nice pullback. We have another mover, then we have break of structure that said we should leave the market. After we leave the market, we need to wait for it to drop to what? 0.78 Fibonacci, which it has touched that. So let's push this back here. So entry point is at 0.006. So we're going to change this to green now, as pump.fund, it's now a buy. So I think we can jump on pump.fund right now. It's now a buy, and our stop loss is going to be below 0.02545. But remember, it's not financial advice, it's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you do your own research and trade with the money you can afford to lose. All right, let's take a look at other altcoins we have on the list. We have Ondo and Zcash, but let's take a look at Ondo first of all. And if you look at Ondo is still the same thing like the SUI and AVAX, all of them. There is no entry yet. Structure not broken. Drop into the buying zone. No, so please stay away from it. We're still going to leave it in red. What about Zcash? I told you guys, do not buy Zcash. And you can see it's been doing the right. And so let me delete this. This was analysis I was doing. So now let's take a look at Zcash. If you look at Zcash went ahead when we had that massive rally. We have this kicker. The kicker pushed down, and if you look at it from here, this is where we're going to do it to see if we're going to have a buy at 0.7, and it has dropped into the buying zone. Okay, that was why we saw that green that I put. So Zcash is actually a buy because you can see that's the buying zone. We're expecting it to drop from this low because of what? Because when you have a kicker, you need to wait for it to drop into 0.786 Fibonacci, and the market has dropped right into it. So I think we can use this as an exam, as an entry, because if you look at the way it's been moving, break of structure, pullback, break of structure, this is the only place where it didn't break any structure. We only had what we call what? A kicker. And whenever you have a kicker, you wait to get back in, because that means the movement is not totally dead until we destroy 298 thereabout. So for now, I think we can join Zcash back, and let me put the line back. That's our entry. because yes, so we're gonna put Zcash buy. You can jump on to Zcash and put your stop loss at 298, but remember this is for spot traders and investors. If you're interested in derivatives, futures, options, and all of that where you use leverage, you need to join my Discord channel or my Telegram channel. That is where you get signals that you can use. But this is for investors, people that put money and wait for it to rally to some certain percentage and make some money for themselves. All right, that's that regarding the altcoins and BTC this money. Let's now check what the meme tokens are doing. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, you're still watching till now, please subscribe, like, and share, and do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you always get notified when I come live. Also, you can follow me on X, on Facebook, on TikTok, and on Instagram. All right, let's take a look at the meme tokens for the lover of meme communities. You can see we're going to start with Dogecoin. To me, Dogecoin is not a buy. I've been telling you since October, stay away from it, and nothing has happened. So please, it's still not a buy. I'll be waiting for Dogecoin to drop into 0.117 thereabout or below before we can look for a buy, or let it break above the structure to have a confirmation that buyers are back into the meme community. Let's take a look at Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu, the same story. It's not a buy yet. Please stay away from it. You can see I still leave it in red. What about Pepe? Pepe, the same thing, but Pepe has dropped closely to the buying, so you can see very closely, and it's starting to move up. So this is dicey, but I'm gonna stick to what I know and what works for me. Yes, because let's draw it together and see if it's going to work. You see, if I draw it like this, you can see it's not still a buy because we need to get into the market around this point. So it's a little bit dicey. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So I'll just say let's leave it. Even though we're going to get into the market, let it break above 0.0000495. Why? Because sometimes this is just to deceive you. You're going to jump into the market then to later drop into the buying zone. So I'm just going to be patient and wait, and if I miss, it's fine. I'm going to get another entry. All right, let's move on. Let's take a look at PopCat. PopCat also is not a buy and has not dropped. Oh, PopCat has dropped into a buying zone. You can see it's in green, and that's why I left it in green. It has dropped into a buying zone, so we can get into PopCat now and put our stop loss at 0.06. What about Trump token? If you look at Trump token, I think did we get a buy last week? I do not think so. Let's see. We do not have a new low. We do not have a structure. So Trump coin is not a buy. No new low, no structure. So we might as well just stay away from Trump coin. Let's put it in red because we had a buy since. So no new low, no structure. So we're going to wait for structure from Trump token. What about Millennial token? Let's see. I think Millennial token was doing a little bit better. Yeah, you can see draw back into the buying zone. So it's inside the buying zone. We're still going to leave it in green because rally from there. Let's take a look at Notcoin. Notcoin is loading. Let's take a look at Notcoin. If Notcoin is going to be a buy, Notcoin is not a buy, not dropping to the buying zone. Stay away from it. What about Deep? Deep is trying to create a structure. Good, we have a new low, but we're going to wait for this structure to activate it. So we're going to leave it in red. It's not a buy. Stay away from it. What about X? X, the same thing. New low, no structure activated yet. So stay away from X. Let's take a look at Swamp. With Swamp is a buy, and you can see I told you it was in green. That was, I think I gave you this entry at 0.13, and that's why it's still in green, and it's still a buy. Swamp is still a buy. You can hold on to your position, and that's what I have on the meme tokens. But if you guys have any meme tokens, altcoins, or any project you want me to analyze for you, you can DM me or comment in the comment section. I'm gonna add it to the list of the charts and we'll discuss it together. But before we get away from the chart analysis, let's take a look at the bonus that I always give you guys every um every day. Okay, and that is gold. And if you remember, I told you throughout last week, get out of gold. I told you I gave you entry at $40,050, and I said please leave the market at 4,200. And you can see the market is still trading around that zone. We have not created a new buy and the market has not dumped, so you'll be at peace. You don't need to always check your portfolio and all of that. So please and please, with what I'm seeing like this, still stay away from gold. When we have the entry, I'm going to tell you when you can get into the market. But remember, this is not financial advice. It's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you do your own research and trade with the money you can afford to lose. All right, guys, that's that regarding the chart analysis this morning and what you should do with your portfolio. Let's now check what is going on with the market itself, what the market cap is looking like. And you can see we are above 3 trillion US dollars. The market cap right now is at 3.2 trillion US dollars and about 115 billion trading volume in the last 24 hours. That is quite small, but because of weekend and a lot of people are waiting for Fed decisions, so maybe a lot of people are staying away from the market. But we're gonna see the volume start coming in from today when the New York session open. And if you look at the trending token, we have Firo, Monad, and Zcash. Yes, because Zcash is now a buy again. Top gainers, you can see it right there. But let's take a look at the top 10 cryptocurrency on the market. If you look at it, number one still remain Bitcoin. That is obvious. Number two, Ethereum. Number three, Tether. Number four, XRP. Number five, BNB. Number six, USDC. Number seven, Solana. Number eight, Lido Stake. Number nine is Tron. While number 10 is Doge Coin, and the likes of Cardano and the rest are still below top 10. If you're interested in knowing where your project sits on the cryptocurrency market ranking, you might want to check that out on CoinGecko.com. All right, guys, let's move on and check what the event of today will look like. Although Monday we don't normally have important data, but for now let's just see what is going on. And you can see on Monday nothing. We have bank holiday in Europe, and in United States nothing is really coming out. So I think we might just see the chart or the structure or the market moving accordingly, because nothing really to worry about when it comes to economic calendar or talking about the event. But we have great news coming out tomorrow on Wednesday, and remember we have FOMC on Wednesday, on Thursday, and on Friday. So this week is going to be very, very, very important, and we need to make sure we stick to that. All right, guys, that's what I have for you on the show this morning. But before I round up, let's check the fear and greed index to know what is going on with the fear and greed index. And if you look at the fear and greed index, last week really changed a little bit compared to what we saw the last 2 weeks when the whole market was in extreme fear throughout. But last 2 weeks, but last week we saw the market now moved into fear from an extreme fear. But let's see what is looking like this morning. Now we are back to extreme fear. This is crazy. You can see right now is extreme fear. Yesterday extreme fear, last week extreme, and last month extreme fear. This is really, really crazy. From moving from extreme for almost 2 weeks in a row into fear last week, but now we're back to extreme fear. And that is why I normally tell you guys that you don't just buy the dip, because if you buy the dip, it might still continue to drop more and you start panicking, or this what will I call it, being in discomfort, don't know what you need to do with your portfolio. So let's just wait. You can see what the data is showing us. Extreme fear now, yesterday, last week, and last month. All right, guys, that's what I have for you on the show this morning. If you've not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Please and please subscribe, like, and share, and do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you can always get the best out of bed out of the crypto Kazim aka KC the Great. And until I catch you tomorrow on another wonderful packed episode of this great show, the Bitcoin and Breakfast Show, please stay out of trouble, trade well, and remember, it's not how many trade you take, but how much money or how much profit